All right, welcome to the Sweet Talk. Today is Monday, October 18th, 2021. I always have to remember like what day it is. It's crazy. After the whole day, I come here and I have to think about what day it is. Anyway, that's my rant. Welcome to the Sweet Talk. My name is Kim Matina. I am your host. And today I am so happy to have on my show my friend, my longtime friend from he was from Philly and then he was from Jersey. Now he's from North Carolina. And I'm so glad to have him on, Mr. Tom Mullaney.
Hey Kim, great to be back one more time. And I think so. It was Philly, then North Carolina, then San Francisco, then
Oh,
North Carolina again. But I'm originally from New York, so yeah, I'm
I
all
can't
over the
keep
place.
track. I
Right.
know you're like you came down to South Jersey at one point
I
or
did. I
another.
never lived there, but I would go to like ed camps there and conferences there because when you
Okay.
live in Philadelphia,
Yeah, we're
you're like
like an hour away.
yeah.
I gotcha. I gotcha. I
Mhm.
forgot about San Fran too. There you
Yes. Oh
go.
yeah. Right.
Easy.
I still got the World's Fair poster from 1915 in the background there.
You're all over the place, Tom.
Yeah.
Well, Tom comes to us from North Carolina. He's a former classroom teacher who creates ed tech professional development series for school districts and for teachers. And he's a wealth of knowledge. And I'm so thankful to have him on the show today for the fourth time. So this is not Tom's first rodeo. So welcome to the show, Tom. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, it's an honor to be back, Kim. And yeah, my background is mostly special education, actually. And I think that informs a lot of what we'll talk about tonight, designing for learners and making things accessible to students. Then I went into middle and high school social studies and then did a little ed tech coaching in schools. And then what I do now is I just create professional development for school districts. So I work with individual school districts across the country and I work with them on ed tech, and it's a lot of fun and a real honor. And it's like I said, it's great to be back with you tonight.
Yeah, I know you you have a lot of great information that you share on your blog and your website and your videos. And what's nice about Tom's resources is that they're right to the point. Like I have no patience, so I always try to make things quick and short and sweet, and that's what Tom does as well. But he does it a little bit more upbeat, as some people would say. So you always have like, you have so much energy and you're always like, go, go, go. So if
Well,
you want to check out Tom's blog, visit his blog and his YouTube channel at what is it, Tom?
so if just search for Tom Mullaney on YouTube. My blog is tommullaney.com.
There you
And
go.
yes, and so I'm on YouTube. I'm Tom Mullaney. Unfortunately, there's a Stanford history professor who has fewer subscribers than me, but he still comes up top in the results.
How dare
Anyway,
he?
yeah, exactly. Same spelling. So anyway, and you know what? Just as you say that, and yeah, I'm from the Northeast. You're from the Northeast. We typically get to the point. I will say I have like a minute. Just give me a minute or two spiel about what this is all about tonight with Google Docs. So I apologize in advance, but I think it'll be worth it if you're a teacher listening to this.
Yeah, so I can't wait to hear what you have to say because every time I read your blog or I connect with you on Twitter or something, I always learn something new from you. So I'm really, when you said, "Hey, can I change my topic to do this?" I was like, "Yeah, go for it." So I think I'm just really curious and anxious to hear some of the tips that you have to share.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Kim. And so let me just start. So let's talk about Google Docs real quick. So the number one most used app in all of EdTech by teachers and students, according to a report by Learn Platform, I guess they surveyed a number of schools, is Google Docs. Okay.
Number one.
Number one most used, Google Docs. And when you think about it, that makes perfect sense, right? So much of what teachers give to students, whether it's just a consumable or a classic worksheet or whatever it might be, is in Google Docs, right? Now, think about before the pandemic. Think about going to conferences, whether they be in your school, your district, or external, and think about the 4 C's and how much emphasis has been placed on creativity. And you'd go to a conference and it would be, we're going to be creative and we're going to do all these cool things. And then you'd visit the classrooms a week, a month later, and what are all the kids doing? Google Docs. It's a word processing tool. Nothing very exciting. I used to tell teachers it would be wonderful if we could just ban Google Docs for 1 week, because that would force everyone involved to unleash some creativity. Then the pandemic hits. Now, once we have a pandemic, any theoretical discussion of let's spur creativity by getting rid of word processing goes out the window.
Yeah.
Right. You can't, we're not there. Maybe one day we'll be in a place where no one gets coronavirus and we're all back at school and there's no issues. But until then, being as upfront and specific, that's what's valued. Okay. That's what's most important, because confusion is so easy to happen and we cannot have that. So think about this. We're going to be using Google Docs and we're going to use them for a long time. But think about your students, right? They're inundated with content. They're on this all day. Google Docs is black text on white pixels. Is black text on white pixels the best way to engage students? Usually not, right? So we need to honor multiple modalities. Text and images, which I think we all can agree in Google Docs is very doable. What about audio? What about video? Now, these are two things that don't really come easy to the standard Google Docs user. All right. But at the same time, our families and our students need user-friendly, clear materials that are understandable. Our guardians, they don't sit with you in class all day. They don't have the context, but they're going to come in when that grade is down to an F or when that student's struggling, and they need to be able to approach what you've created. All right. Now, Kim, I know you well know that Google Classroom has a rich text editor.
Yeah.
It's not great. As a huge Google Classroom fan, I will say it's not great. It doesn't have hyperlinking. People complain all the time that it causes extra spaces. It's very limited in what it can do. It's a little bit half-baked. So we can't do it in Google Docs or Google Classroom's assignments. We can't use that instructions field. One last thing I'll say is that our students on their 11-inch Chromebooks often have 11, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 tabs open. And they get bounced when we give them links. They get bounced to all these tabs, right? So can we cut down on all those tabs with our Google Docs? Now, what I'm going to show you tonight is a series of things that you can do in Google Docs now. The oldest of these, which will be the first thing I show you, is 2 years old. It dropped in fall of 19. Everything else is newer than that. One thing is a Chrome extension. So this is all recent updates that will help make your Google Docs more engaging and keep your students in those tabs. All right, Kim, that's my little opening spiel. Let me share my screen.
All right.
And let's share screen. Okay. And yes, okay, good. All right, I'm going to be looking at my other screen now, but you should see a Google Doc right now. Yes, there it is. There we are. All right.
All right. Here I see you. Uh-oh, I think we lost you. I think we have some technical difficulties here with Tom. So hopefully he'll come back on and join again. Let's see here. Hold on. Let's see if he reconnects. Yep. Okay. He just disconnected. So hopefully he'll come back on soon, and then I'll let him in so we could see what he's talking about in the Google Docs. But let's see here. I can't wait to see what he is going to talk about. So let's wait. Let's see. I should put the Jeopardy music on. I should have some music in the background. This is the first time this happened in a long time. Bandwidth. Gotta love it. Hopefully he'll be back on. I really wanted to hear what he had to say about Google Docs. Come on, Tom. Anybody out there? There he is. There he
So
is.
my Wi-Fi dropped out. Yes.
I just said, you got to love bandwidth.
Oh my goodness. So as best I can tell, my Wi-Fi, I'm on my phone. So I'm using my hotspot right now. So let's let me turn off my camera to save on
Do
some
you want to
bandwidth.
share the doc with me and then I can share it?
Yeah. Well, yeah, let me share it with you real
Is that
quick. It's back. Oh, hey, can we like take a 1 minute pause while I get back on the Wi-Fi?
go ahead? 1
Yeah,
minute pause.
like
Go
off my
ahead. Do what you got to
hotspot.
do.
All right, give me a second.
I
I may
just
wind
said,
up.
I just told the audience I might have to have like some Jeopardy music playing or something
All right,
while
there. All
we
right,
wait for
I
you.
might disconnect for 1 second and then.
He's gone.
All right, we're back.
And we're back.
All right, allegedly we're back. Yes. All right. I'm gonna let me copy the link to this. Should I put it in the chat?
Yeah, put it in the chat.
And all right, so I'm just gonna put this. It's like my demo doc that I'm working on, and so I apologize for that.
It's all good, Tom.
I like to say, even in the future, nothing works. That's from the movie Spaceballs. You may remember it.
You know what? I never watched those stupid movies.
Well, all right. So it's kind of funny. I'm not a Star Wars fan, which is I can't I'm gonna have people throwing tomatoes at me for saying that. But I love Spaceballs, which is the joke of that. All right, I'm trying to share my screen. Hold on.
All right, you want me to? Oops.
All right, hold on. Share screen one more time.
Do you want me to share the screen, or do you want to do it?
No, I want to do it.
Okay. Let's see if it works.
There we go.
All right.
Okay, great. All right. So sorry about that, everybody. All right. First thing first, Lexan fonts.
Oh, yes.
Yes, Lexan fonts are researched to help anyone with comprehension. And what I'm going to quickly do is I'm going to do a Control A on this doc, Control A, and I'm going to go where the font field is, right? And I'm going to quickly, what Lexan fonts, I've never heard of them. Well, if I click on more fonts, and this works, by the way, docs, drawings, sheets, slides, and sites now too. And I click on more fonts, and I'm going to type Lexan. And there I have 8 varieties. I love Lexan Deca. I think Lexan Deca actually looks like the Google logo font a teens bit. Notice they're flatter and they're more spaced than typical fonts.
Yeah.
I will make these Lexan Deca. Lexan Zeta is the most spaced. I like to say that those characters are social distancing. They're 6 pixels apart. I don't know if they really are 6 pixels, but you get my drift. I'm going to go with Deca in this case. And let's make this all Lexan Deca. There it is. And all right, so now this is all Lexan Deca. I really like Lexan Deca. One thing I will say, and I need a good example of this. Let's see. Hold on. I need the letter A. Think about elementary teachers and why they love Comic Sans, which is not available in Google Workspace. But one of the reasons they love it is that the A in Arial or Times New Roman has that little cap. And that's not how we teach kids to handwrite. Well, the A in Lexan looks like the handwritten letter A. So Lexan fonts, they're nice, and they're apparently researched to actually work, to improve reading speed. All right.
Lexan fonts are great for dyslexic students as well.
My one caveat about that is if you have a student who is working with Open Dyslexic and it's working for that student, I wouldn't reinvent the wheel. I wouldn't mess with that, but apparently it is very, very nice. Okay, next thing. So hyperlinking text. Now that's no big deal. We've been doing that for years. What I see a lot with teachers is that they have URLs like this. So this is the sweettalk.com. You see your website, Kim. And I've just copy pasted it into this Google Doc. And we give that to students. Don't do that ever. Let me tell you why. One, if you ever have a student with a screen reader, and by the way, this pandemic has proven anything, is that students who are remote can participate. All right, and we should be ready for them. So if you ever have a student with a screen reader, they would read that as HTTP://
Yeah.
W. It's awful. So you
It's,
don't want to ever
yeah.
do that. You want to instead hyperlink text that is explicit, because even your regular student, you or me, we see that hyperlink, and for a minute or for a split second, our eyes glaze over. It's not it's like, it's
It's like
not
garbage.
engaging.
You just,
Right.
yeah, exactly. Non-engaging.
So what we're going to do instead, and Google Docs now helps you with this, is I'm going to click this, and Google Docs will actually say replace the URL with its title. So it does it for you. You don't even have to think, well, what's a good descriptor of what this website is? Just let it do it for you. Look at this. And now, so that's what we can do now. Just please don't do any straight up URLs. The only reason you would ever want to do that is if the URL was specifically important, like pets.com, if you were doing a business report or something. You want to make sure that you don't have URLs in your Google Doc.
Is that new?
Yes. So where it will tell you, so I'll give you another example here. So if I let me put the StreamYard URL into this doc, where I'll click here and so I have it there. Now I have to make sure it's hyperlinked. So now it's hyperlinked. Now it will, again, replace the URL replace URL with its title. It wants to help you. It wants to make your docs more engaging for your readers. And then
That's interesting. I never noticed that before.
Yep. Yeah, really nice update. Probably, again, within the last 2 years. Probably not as recent as not as old as Lexan, but within the last 2 years, they've done that.
Okay.
So, yeah, Docs is trying to help you with this, which is nice. You can be lazy. You can just copy paste. You don't have to hyperlink text. It'll do it for you.
I do like the little shortcuts that they added in when you do the hyperlink, where you can easily unlink it, you can edit, and you can copy it.
Mm-hmm.
I find those little shortcuts to be extremely helpful.
Oh, yes. And now I could always edit this. If I want to say, if I want to change this to StreamYard video player or something like that, I can go and edit the text there real easy. But yes, anyway. And it even gives you, by the way, those first few lines, engage your Facebook or YouTube live audience. It even gives you a little of the description of the site, which is nice. All right. So let's take advantage of hyperlinking with another recent feature, which is checklists, right? Checklists, they're trying to make Google Docs more intuitive and useful. So if I take this list, this is my list of things I'm going to talk about tonight. And I'll click up here, and right by bullets, there's now a checklist button. So let me checklist. I'll make this a checklist. And if I finish font, I'm done with font, right? I can just check it, strike through. Really nice. But what if this checklist hyperlinked to all the sections of my doc? Well, here's how we do that. We're going to do that using something called headings, right? So when I click here and I make this normal text into a heading, all right, so I made that a heading. My heading style is a lot smaller than what I had this, but you get my drift. I'm going to make this one heading 1. And we'll do this one as heading 1, and I'll just go all the way to the bottom. Make that, I'm not going to do all 7 items, but so all the way at the bottom. Give me 1 second here. This is the very last thing we're talking about tonight, and I will make this heading 1. And now, so I go back up. Sorry for the scrolling. I click on font, and I want to hyperlink this to the font section of my website or my Google Doc. By the way, when I say website, all these things we do in Google Workspace, docs, slides, all of it are just websites when you think about it. And that's kind of, you have to think of your student as a web viewer. And what I'm going to say is this, I'm just giving you point and click, no coding, no any of that stuff. Any teacher can do this. All right. So I'm going to hyperlink this word font. And at the very bottom, I want you to notice you get a headings and bookmarks. And so any heading in your doc or your bookmark, you can link to right there. So I click here, and it's looking at my headings and my bookmarks. One little note about this. It does not work with titles. So if you set something to be title, for some reason it doesn't work. I don't know why, but it doesn't. So I click on Lexan fonts. So now when I click here, it tells me it's a title in this doc, Lexan fonts, and I go there. think about what if you give your students a study guide and you say there's 8 activities at the very, and you hyperlink that checklist at the top. You want them to do 5 out of the 8. And that list hyperlinks to the section of the doc where they go. And it's a checklist too, right? There's such good capability now that we have with this. So I would say hyperlink checklist, try that with your students, especially any Google Doc that goes on for 2 to 3 pages, section it off with headings, and then make a little checklist of, hey, did you do every section of my doc? Right?
That's a good idea, Tom. I didn't think about putting the checklist there. They can kind of use that to keep track of their progress or whatnot,
All right. And speaking of study guides, so the next one is preview panels and docs and slides. So I've talked about how I don't like all these. And here, look at my screen. I have 5 tabs open. But when we have our kids and we give them links, they're going to open more and more tabs. What if they can view some of that content in their Google Doc? Well, guess what? You can link a Google Doc or a Google Slides presentation, and it will open right here in the doc. Let me show you. So this right here, this links to a Google Doc. Watch this. When I click it, it says open preview. And if my window's too small. Sorry, hold on. I have it blown up too much. So you see I was up to like 125. Hold on. Here we go. Now I got it. Oh, my demo. There we go. All right. So now.
Oh, look at that.
Google Doc. It's right here. Now you have to show your students this. You have to prompt your students to do this. It doesn't automatically happen, but you can hyperlink. Now, what can happen now is I could be reading the content of this document. Oh, hold on. While I am typing in my Google Doc, right? So I can read one and type in another. Now think about what you could do. You could always copy paste an article from the internet. Now, of course, give credit, link to whoever it is. But if you copy paste an article from the World Wide Web into a Google Doc and then link that Google Doc, they could be reading that Google Doc and that article right there as they're typing reflections or answering questions or whatever you might want to do. Now, the good news is that also works for Google Slides. So check this out. Google Slides, open preview. And here we go. And I have my slides and they're loading. Yep. All right. 1, 2. Oh, it's taking a site. There we go. Boom. Yeah. All right. So my slides work as well. So think about guided notes, right? You could link to your Google Slides. Kids bring up the slides and they can respond to, and take notes or whatnot in your Google Doc. So
this is just in preview mode. This isn't like the kids would have to go into this and open it if they wanted to edit or respond in here, right? This is
absolutely right. This is a preview. They can see the right here. I don't have any voice note or speaker notes, but they will see the speaker notes in slides.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but this is not an editing screen. This is a viewing screen.
You know what it reminds me of, Tom? Remember Picture in a Picture on a TV back in the day?
You're right. It is Picture in Picture. That's right. Yes.
Right. I didn't notice this. Is this new?
This has been around a couple of years, not a couple of years. Like I'm trying to think. I think it may have been a little pre-pandemic. I don't remember exactly, or maybe it's like
I don't remember. I don't remember seeing it.
Maybe sometime in 2020. Maybe I'm thinking
2020. Okay.
Yeah, I don't. But it's just like I said. It's that again. I need
That's
you.
Nice.
I need you to interact with this other Google Doc or this other Google Slides while you're in my Google Doc, but we can do it now we're not opening new tabs.
Yeah, so I definitely like that. I like that they can preview it, check it out, read it, refer to something quick, and then go back to the doc and collaborate in there. I like that. I honestly, I don't know, last year I wasn't teaching, so if this did happen to come out last year, I missed it. I just, when you're not teaching, it's totally different. You're using the tools differently,
That's what the Sweet Talk is for, so that we can learn and learn, share and learn.
Share and learn. That's great.
All right. Well, this now, when we talk about things that are really useful, I'm about to show you something that this is the only thing where we have to add one component that's not native to Google Docs. Everything else, Lexan fonts, hyperlinking, previews for docs and slides, that's all in Google Docs. There's one thing, we need the Moat Chrome extension, and we need
Yeah.
our kids to have the Chrome extension as well. Now, why? Because remember I talked about being multimodal. So right here, I have a little intro paragraph. Well, check this out. I'm going to use Moat real quick to record this text. So I click on Moat, I click this button. San Francisco, officially the city and county of San Francisco, is a cultural, commercial, and financial center in the US state of California. I click done. Now that puts it on my clipboard. Watch what I'm going to do here. I'm going to hyperlink the word introduction. It's on my clipboard, so this is going to be that Moat link. Now watch this. Now, because I have the Moat Chrome extension, I'm going to be able to play this in the Google Doc. So if the kid has it, the kid gets to play it in the Google Doc. They get to hear your text and just write in their Google Doc. Watch this. So we hit load. We hit play. San Francisco, officially the city and county of San Francisco, is a cultural, commercial, and financial center. All right, so you see that. I mean, talk about possibilities for kids. Now, again, they have to have that Chrome extension installed, but that is very, very powerful for kids. We're embedding audio right inside the Google Docs. The play button is right there. There's no other tab, no nothing. If they
That's
didn't
what I
have,
was just going to ask you, Tom. Where do they see the link to the audio file?
well, they would have to click the linked word and then
Okay.
you get that. Now but that also works for images. So here,
Okay.
if I hyperlink this image, if I want the image to talk, and I'll just do the same thing, I hit apply. Now, again, you'd have to show your students that this is what you did, or at least get them in the routine. But you see this here? San Francisco, officially the city. Now, again, so the image is talking. So you can get that
Okay.
audio inside the Google Doc. By the way,
That's
free
cool because the Moat extension, when they use it in Google Docs, it actually goes in as a comment in the commenting tool. So this is totally like kind of embedded within the document. So it's a different way of using Moat.
Right. And so you see, and by the way, this is another update. You notice there's a lot more space for the comment field. They recently added that too, where it's like it's a wider field. You can do the comments, but the comments are they're kind of amongst the editors and the collaborators. So this is just a nice way to embed that sound. Doesn't have to be a comment. It's right there, right in the text that they're working with. So can we do the same with video? Could we do this with video too? Well, the good news is the answer is yes. So I'm going to take the last time I was on here, we were talking about drawing in Google. And I'm going to go get this YouTube link. I'm going to click copy. And I'm going to go into our Google Doc. And I'm going to hyperlink this. Watch this. And we will paste that link. And we'll click apply. And now, wait for it. Remember that open preview from last time? Not from last time, but from docs and slides. Well, it applies to YouTube as well.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Huh.
See that? There's you and me talking about drawing in Google Keep.
I got it.
Oh, there you are, Kim.
Wow.
And there I am. So
okay, that's great to know, Tom. I never noticed that that preview button, you know?
yes, the preview button. So that's going to work for docs, slides, YouTube videos. It does not work for videos in your Google Drive. Oh, I wish it did. That would be amazing because that would be your Screencastify feedback just opens up right there. It does not work for Google Forms. I really one day want to be able to answer a Google form right inside a Google Doc. Please, please, please. But so again, you as the viewer do this. You click the link and open the preview. So you have to train the students to do this, but they can. Now, an advantage to that, let me show you an advantage to that, is that we can have our students exploring 360 scenes inside a Google Doc. How does that work? So we're going to go to YouTube. And I'm going to search for the solar system. Okay. I got to spell it correctly. And now I'm going to apply 2 filters. The first one is important. The second one I have a specific reason for doing. So I'm going to click on this filters button and I'm going to click 360. All right. And you see, by the way, this solar system 360 from Thought Cafe is amazing. We don't have the rights to play it though on YouTube, and I don't want to get you a strike for your YouTube channel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another filter that is teachers you never have to use. I'm just doing this to protect Kim's YouTube channel, and I'm going to click on Creative Commons. Okay, you can just go ahead as a teacher and go ahead and use the Thought Cafe solar system. It's amazing. It's so good. But I'll click on Creative Commons, and I'm going to actually use this second result here. It's a 360 tour of the solar system. And again, I'm just going to pause this real quick. There we go. Okay. I'm going to click share. I'm going to click copy. And we'll go back here. And I will just hyperlink the words 360 video with this YouTube link. All right. And then there's my open preview. And so I, as the student, can go anywhere in this video and literally click around and move. Oh, there's Earth. Can I find the sun? I don't know. Maybe I can, maybe I can't. But I can click around the video. This is especially nice. If you teach World War I, there's a ton of 360 trench videos of like actual World War I trenches. So you can have your kids clicking and moving around 360 videos. And again, I'm doing this in a Google Doc, no new tab. And it's very, very nice.
Oh, this is cool, Tom. This is really cool.
Yeah.
I'm doing it right now while you're showing it. This is cool.
Yeah. And again, I wish this is a Creative Commons approved. There's other great 360 videos on YouTube, but.
So let me ask you this. Does it open up a Google map in Street View?
Oh my goodness. Again. So remember I said we can't do Google Drive videos. We can't do Google Forms. So what I want to see happen is I want to see Google My Maps, Earth projects, although Google Earth projects don't embed a website, so I don't have high hopes for that. What about Jamboard Jams? What if they did that?
Yeah,
so
that would be awesome.
Yeah. So right now we have to think just the big 3: docs, slides, and YouTube videos.
YouTube. Okay.
Why that is, I don't know, but at least we have YouTube videos, meaning our kids can watch video in their Google Docs, which is nice.
Yeah, and you can use a 360 video, so yeah, it gives them that kind of interaction there. That's awesome.
All right, Kim. I know we've gone a little past a half hour because we were at our little technical difficulties, but I'm going to leave us on one last tip that I like because it's explicit. When I share something with a child, I want it to be explicit. I want it to be conspicuous and clear, right? And that's this thing called smart chips. What are they? So if I type the @ key in my, and by the way, let me put this away, in my Google Doc, and I suddenly get people, and I get Google Docs, I get calendar events, right? Well, if I keep typing, I'm going to wind up with all sorts of different options. But here, I'll just do demo Google Doc real quick. And you notice how that has a little special tile there. That's what's called a smart chip. And it's the same thing. You know, I get the open preview. I get all that stuff. Now, you can do that with the @ key. You can even do collaborator. So if I type @ and then I tag myself, then it doesn't give you a special, but it grays it. And if I click it, I get my email and some other links and stuff. That's basically based on my Google profile. So you could put that, at Kim Mattina at the very top of your Google Doc, and then your kids would have your email right there. So your kids could just email you, right there. They could click send email and be emailing you without ever typing your email address. Now this also works with YouTube videos, but it won't. You can't type the @ key. So what you would do is you'd click share, you'd click copy, and we go back to our doc, and I will quickly, hold on. I will type it, and it even prompts me. You see how it prompts me there? If I hit tab, it will make it a smart chip. Pretend I forgot to do that. Then I will hyperlink it, and hyperlink. And then if I click on it, It's going to tell me to either make it a chip or a link. A link is the title. Remember earlier when we did replace URL with title, it will make it the title. But if I make it a chip, watch this, I get this other again, and it gives me the open preview just like before. But what I like about this is if I'm listing resources for kids, talk about engagement and being clear and concise, they know, oh, this is a Google Doc. They know, oh, this is a YouTube video because it's very clear. I see the Google Docs icon. I see and that will work as well for, if for calendar events, there's a little calendar icon, but it will work for slides and sheets. And I think drawings as well. There's a little drawings icon. So that's, and they call that smart chips. It doesn't yet work for forms or My Maps or Jamboard, hopefully soon, but that's, again, just to be clear and concise with your kids. Nothing too challenging, and it's not going to revolutionize instruction, but it will make your documents that you share with kids a lot less confusing and more understandable for your kids.
And it's easier. Like you don't have to find an icon for YouTube, and you don't have to add all that in there. It just, you hit the smart chip and it puts it in there for you. So it's kind of like if you were actually putting in like a table with resources, and you had, you know, a website or a YouTube channel, a Google Doc, you can use the smart chips and it'll actually look nicer, and it's clean, and the kids will see exactly what they are, and you don't have to go searching for the icon and linking it, and it's so much easier.
Yeah.
It looks better. It just looks nicer.
It does look
you
nicer.
know, it looks nicer. They're putting in there like the most up-to-date icon. You know what I mean? You don't have to futz around with cropping it and stuff. It just looks nicer. So yeah, that's a great tip. Now, do you use when I make docs, especially like, you know, for kids and whatnot, I kind of make my information in tables. So, and then I have like different sections for, you know, different things in a table, just because it's easier for them to see it, I guess. Instead, like the table just kind of groups it all together nicely. You know what I mean? Do you find that you do that with your in your PD sessions? Do you recommend using tables or no?
Let me tell you where I use tables in Google Docs. I think I have it here. Yes, I do. I use tables with images. Because images are so hard to manage in Google Docs. So if I want an image, I'm going to throw it in a table. And then either that might, you know, the answer might be next to the image, or there might be text that speaks to the image in the cell over, whatever it might be. But yes, my big thing with tables is if you're using images, throw it in the table. That way it just kind of stays where you want it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I just like using the tables because for me, it just keeps everything grouped together. And like, especially like like you said, with images, it's not, I don't have to format the image behind the text, in front of the text, around the text. It's just going to stay right in that cell, you know, and stay put, you know.
Absolutely.
But yeah, okay. I just wanted to hear, you know, what your thoughts were on that. The expert here.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm telling, for years I was in that space of, hey, I would like to do things that are creative and fun, and let's go outside the box. And, you know, obviously the pandemic has pushed a lot of us outside the box, but in certain ways we have to be in it because we have to be clear with our students. If we are doing things where they can't access the information, if we're putting 10 URLs in a Google Doc for our kids, that's not really helping them.
It's not helping them.
We need to be concise and clear with our students right now.
Yeah, I totally agree. I tend to put stuff in a Hyperdoc, like for my classroom resources, and I have them in a table and I space it all out. I group things together so it's not all like thrown at them. And then I put that into my Google Classroom so that it's just one link in Google Classroom. If I have to make changes, I make it in the doc. It's just easier.
You know, Kim, years ago, I used to say I wanted Google Classroom to become more like ThingLink. You know, ThingLink, it has, you know, you can watch a YouTube video in a ThingLink. You can answer a Google form in a thing link. You can see Google Slides in a thing link, and you don't go to a new tab. And what happened was, instead of Classroom doing that, Google Docs is starting to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're right, though, too. Like, I mean, I look at the kids' Chromebooks and they have 10, 15 tabs open. And then they start getting confused on like which tab do they have to go back to. It would be nice to teach them how to group the tabs, like with that Chrome, the Chrome new feature that came out with grouping tabs, but then they have to create the tab group every time they log into the Chromebook.
Right.
Like it doesn't save the group, which I hope that changes too, because that would make it much easier. But little steps in the right direction is always good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think these updates, I mean, what I showed you in the last half hour or so, like I said, the oldest was Lexan, and that was late 2019. So this is all a lot of new stuff. And I think it's stuff that teachers using Google Docs, we use it each and every day. But as these little updates drop from time to time, we don't think, hey, I can use that. So I just kind of wanted to put that all together in one place so that teachers could see it and say, oh yeah, all right, I could do that. And that
definitely. I agree. And what's nice too is that they're not complex. It's very simple tips that are right in your face when you do the hyperlink. You hover over the link and you get the open preview. Like it's not complex stuff. It's just bringing it to someone's attention. That's half the battle.
Right. Absolutely.
This was great, Tom. I tell you, every time you come on, I always learn something new. I always go to your blog. I check it out. I check out your YouTube channel. You always share really great tips. Because I'm learning too. I learn from everybody. So it's all about paying it forward.
Absolutely. Yeah. I know. It was my pleasure. I'm so sorry about those technical difficulties.
Oh, it's okay. But it's the no stress show.
And that's what we have to really understand, is that obviously this technology, it's not going to work 100%. It will work 90 to 95% of the time, but it won't work 100% of the time. And so you just got to roll with it.
You just have to be calm.
Absolutely.
And just roll with it. Exactly. It is what it is. The worst thing that happens, you just disconnect and you reconnect again. It's not a big deal.
Yes.
Right? You can't stress out about that stuff anymore.
Well, we know there's a lot worse that can happen. If the worst thing that happens to you during the day is you lose internet, then that's not that bad, really. It's
not that bad. I actually, what I learned, like last week, the kids in my district, they had to do some type of testing. So there was no Chromebooks, right? Couldn't use the Chromebooks. So I'm like, all right, what am I going to do? I teach computer science, I don't have the desktops or anything in my room. So I took out the iPads, and the kids actually learned how to code on the iPad using the Bird Blocks app. And they learned how to connect their iPad to the kit Bluetooth, and they learned the app, and it was so nice. It was so different, it was, and they actually liked it better. So sometimes not having it and thinking of a different way, it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
No, it's not. I think, and that's, different experiences call for different tools and technology, for sure. By the way, if you're using an iPad to view a Google Doc, most of this stuff will not be there, or will open you into a new tab. If you're using a Chromebook, and I would say if you're using a Chromebook with a touchscreen, the 360 video suggestion that would be nice. That is so nice, because then you're using your finger to move around that.
Yeah,
that is so nice.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. I'm glad that you actually brought that up about the Doc app too, because there might be people out there that are using iPads and stuff for that. So, but it doesn't work in the Doc app, right?
It will not. No, you can. Any link, like if I put a Moat link, it will open me up in it will open it up on Moat's website, actually. So go to Chrome. If you have a YouTube link, it's going to open you up in YouTube and whatnot.
Yeah. And what about the smart chips? Are they in the Doc app?
I think they are visible, but they're not going to have so you see that the little icon, as best I understand, but you don't get that kind of picture in picture like we were talking
Okay.
about.
So the best experience for these is really in the web.
Is the web. And that's so true. But remember, if you have iPads, your kids can use auto draw and Jamboard, and they can add video to their Google Classroom assignments. So, there's things you can do with iPads that sometimes you can't do on the web.
This is true. This is true.
Yeah.
It's always got, pros and
Yeah,
cons to everything, but
absolutely.
yeah. Well, this was great, Tom. Thank you so much. You know how I love having you on and really learning from you and sharing it out with everyone. It's just really greatly appreciated. And I'm thankful that you took the time to be on tonight. Thank you for everyone who was watching. I really appreciate, your feedback. Was getting a lot of comments and things. So thanks for watching. What I'm going to do really quick is just wrap up the show. I'm going to share my screen. Let's see. Let me go up here. All right. So you can visit my website at www.thesweettalk.com. And oops, hold on. Where am I? There we are.
There you go.
You can visit my website at thesweettalk.com. Tonight's episode will be right here on the homepage. You can also check out the Sweet Talk Facebook group, subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on Twitter. Check out the podcast on Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and the newsletter. You can also check out the guest inquiry. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, please fill out the form here and I will get back to you. Right now, I am scheduling for January 2022. So if you want to check it out, be on, pay it forward. Also, you can check out these sponsors that support my mission and paying it forward. I really want to say thank you to Helperbird, Alice Keeler, Moat, Screencastify, Text Help, Cami, Slides Mania, and StreamYard. I really appreciate your support. Without them, I wouldn't be able to do this show for that long. It's amazing. And also my episodes, if you want to see any past episode, you can go to the episode page and check out any whenever it loads. You can check out any past episode here in the list. You can check out the YouTube episode and the show notes. It'll load. It's just it's slow, but it loads. So here's all the shows here, and also you can check out the books that I co-authored with Alice Keeler, Teaching with Google Jamboard, that's available on Amazon, and Stepping Up to Google Classroom is also available on Amazon. And with that being said, coming back to my friend.
Hey, Kim, thanks so much. This was a real treat. Thanks. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Tom. I really appreciate it. And for everyone else, thanks for tuning in. Take care. Until next time. Bye.